I'm Mark Twite, and at Gym Jones we train top-tier athletes, we train military, and we have a reputation for training the occasional Spartan and superhero. In this episode, we're going to talk about training with purpose. Working towards a goal will make the work more effective, and you'll progress more rapidly when you do have a goal. In this series of videos, I'm going to share some of the fundamental training concepts that we use, and these are things that you can apply in your daily life and not exclusively to exercise. First, let's take a quick look at the training we did for 300 and 300 Rise of an Empire. In each case, we designed the training to achieve specific goals.
My brothers, steady your heart. Look deep into your souls, for your mettle is to be tested this day.
At Gym Jones, we've reached the conclusion that no matter how seductive the complicated things are, simple is best. That's true for exercise, that's true for diet, and above all, it's true for how we think about those two concepts. So the sooner we get over the hype, the sooner we settle down to the fundamentals and accept that there are no shortcuts, the easier it will be to actually change our current condition. What I want to illustrate here is that there's no magic in any movement, no magic in a specific tool or a certain diet. The magic comes from actually changing your behavior. If you don't change bad habits, if you don't replace them with good ones, and that doesn't happen overnight, then nothing you can add to those habits will change anything. As we have been able to understand the differing objectives of the different individuals we train, we have a lot of different options to apply to each individual. When a movie like this comes out, or sports performances like you might see in the Olympics happen, it's a double-edged sword. One side of that, automatically you disconnect from it and go, I could never do that. I love watching it, but I could never do it. But then I look at some of the guys on screen for the 300 movie and I go, oh my God, that's a human being who put himself into that condition. And the easy way out is to say that's impossible. And the harder thing, but the more productive thing, is to send a message or to broadcast a message that says, look, these things are achievable, even if not tomorrow. But okay, it might take a year, it might take 2 years, but you can get there. And that's, for me, the biggest motivating factor for movies like this. And that's really the point of training, is progressing it to greater levels of difficulty in order to change us internally as well as externally. On the original 300, we approached the training in a sort of a one-size-fits-all way. But we did very little adaptation according to individual ability. And on the second one, we adapted loads and exercises and movements to the individuals in order to actually produce a better result for that individual. The original 300 workout was actually a test that we designed during the preparation period for the first movie. And Ellie's going to take the 300 test, which is the test that we imposed on several of the stunt crew and one of the actors on the original 300. He hasn't practiced for it, he hasn't seen it, so the conditions are exactly the same as they were on the original project. There's no machines, it's all, weights that you pick up or just moving your own body. The reason I came up with it is I wanted a rite of passage that was similar to sort of, a boy growing into a man in sort of the Spartan mythology, if you will. Nice. We also wanted to make sure that they were physically prepared. So if it took 4 weeks of training, 5 weeks of training, or 6 weeks of training before they were ready to confront that test, that's what we did. Test is something that you are not necessarily prepared for. You can physically do it, you might mentally be able to do it, but it should come as a surprise.
When you do a hard workout, try to strategize little cues of how to pace the workout. As soon as it got dark, that's when my mind started to negotiate. Everything started to become dark. At that time, that's when you have to control and silence the mind and relax. And that's why it's good to have a coach or a trainer by your side, to have that little voice to help you. Okay, keep going, keep going, keep going.
Goals are important to causing change in yourself. If you don't have a goal, then it's going to be important to establish one and then work to achieve it. In the next video, we'll teach some of the fundamental exercises so that you know how to do them safely and properly.